very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, your one-stop morning show for the stories that you might have missed during the night and also the stories that are likely to unfold during the course of the day today. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and these are the headlines. Challenge before higher judiciary to mentor and encourage lower judiciary, says President. Prime Minister calls for three arms of state to work together to give direction to new India. Last day of nomination for second phase of Gujarat elections. Congress releases third list of 76 candidates. Prime Minister to address 4 rallies in the state today. Death sentence for those guilty of raping girls below 12 years of age. Madhya Pradesh Cabinet clears proposal. Bill to be brought in the State Assembly's winter session beginning today. 65% voting in first phase of historic round of elections in Nepal. First elections for Parliament and Provincial Assemblies being held under the new constitution. And Gopi Thongkanal becomes first Indian male runner to win gold at Asian Marathon Championship. 5 gold for India at Women's Youth Boxing Championships. Pankaj Advani enters semi-finals of the World Snooker Championships. Our top story this morning, President Ram Nath Kovind has said that the 3 organs of the state, the judiciary, the legislature and the executive are equal and it is critical not to disturb their separation of powers. Speaking at a function organized by the Supreme Court to mark the Constitution Day on Sunday, the President said that there is a need to maintain a delicate balance while exploring the relationship between the 3 branches. The President also said that the Constitution of India is not static but a living document and all the 3 branches of the state have a certain responsibility to it. He also said that the Constitution is not an abstract idea but it has to be made meaningful to the ordinary people of every village and mohalla of the nation.
There should no doubt be emphasis on ministries and departments of the Union government, but also on how our constitutional project is being taken forward by village and block level institutions. The legislative sanctity of Parliament is important, but so is that of every Gram Panchayat, and this must demand attention from each one of us.
And in related news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the balance between judiciary, legislature and executive has been the backbone of the Constitution. Addressing the valedictory session of a 2-day conference on National Law Day in New Delhi on Sunday, the Prime Minister stressed on the need for these 3 pillars of the Indian democracy to strengthen each other and work together. The Prime Minister also said that India is a young country and all its institutions should work together to give direction to the new India as their every decision impacts the lives of common man. The Prime Minister stated that a separation of powers is a fundamental concept of the Constitution which could not be violated. On pendency of a large number of cases in courts, the Prime Minister suggested that evening courts can be started to tackle the issues as already being done in some states. The Prime Minister also pitched for simultaneous Lok Sabha and state elections on the occasion.
आज समय की मांग है कि हम एक दूसरे को सशक्त करें, एक संस्था दूसरे की आवश्यकताओं को समझे। वो संस्था जिन चुनौतियों का सामना कर रही हैं, उन्हें समझे। जब ये तीनों संस्थाएं संविधान में लिखित अपने कर्तव्यों पर ध्यान देगी, तभी देश के नागरिकों को भी अधिकार से कह पाएंगे कि आप भी अपने कर्तव्यों का पालन करिए। हम भले रहें या न रहें, लेकिन ये देश रहने वाला है। हम रहें या न रहें, लेकिन जो व्यवस्था हम देश को देकर जाएं, वो सुरक्षित, स्वाभिमानी और स्वावलंबी भारत की व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए।
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also called for a united fight to defeat terrorism. Addressing the nation through his monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat, the Prime Minister said that terrorism has become a constant global threat. He said it is trying to weaken and destroy the social fabric. The Prime Minister also remembered the victims of the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks and said that the country won't forget their sacrifice.
आतंकवाद ने विश्व की मानवता को ललकारा है। आतंकवाद ने मानवतावाद को चुनौती दी है। वो मानवीय शक्तियों को नष्ट करने पर तुला हुआ है और इसलिए अब सिर्फ भारत ही नहीं, विश्व की सभी मानवतावादी शक्तियों को एकजुट होकर आतंकवाद को पराजित करके ही रहना होगा।
And the Prime Minister also congratulated the Navy personnel on a Navy Day that will be observed on the 4th of next month. He said that India has an unbreakable bond with the oceans. The Prime Minister also addressed the farming community and called upon them to make a resolve that by the year 2022, they will cut down urea usage by half.
हर प्रकार के वैज्ञानिक तरीकों से ये सिद्ध हो चुका है कि धरती मां को आवश्यकता से अधिक यूरिया के उपयोग से गंभीर नुकसान पहुंचता है। किसान तो धरती का पुत्र है। किसान धरती मां को बीमार कैसे देख सकता है? समय की मांग है इस मां बेटे के संबंधों को फिर से एक बार जागृत करने की।
And now our special segment on Gujarat Assembly elections. Well, today is the last day for filing nominations for the second phase of Assembly polls in Gujarat. A total of 351 nominations have been filed by various candidates for the second phase. Scrutiny will be held on 28th of November and the last date for withdrawal is 30th of November. Polling for the second and the last phase will be held on 14th of December in 93 constituencies. Earlier, 977 candidates were left in the fray for the first phase of Assembly elections, which will be held on 9th of December. 89 seats of Saurashtra and South Gujarat region are going to poll in the first phase, while the remaining 93 seats in Central and Northern region would go to polls in the second phase. Meanwhile, the Congress party on Sunday released its third list of 76 candidates for the second phase of the Gujarat Assembly elections. The list was released by senior party leader Oscar Fernandez. Earlier, on 21st of November, the party released its second list of 13 candidates for the upcoming elections. The party, however, could not finalize the names of its candidates in 20 more seats. Now, Congress has been out of power in Gujarat for over 2 decades now. The elections in Gujarat will be held in 2 phases on 9th and 14th of December. And hectic campaigning is on in Gujarat as the date for the first phase of polling approaches. Now, BJP stalwarts are busy addressing rallies in the state. And now, BJP National President Amit Shah attended a program in Daryapur, which is considered a sensitive area. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley also held a meeting with the textile traders in Gujarat. In Surat, he also attended the Mann Ki Baat, the Chai Ke Saath program in Ajan area of Surat West constituency.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए गुजरात एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण प्रांत है। यहाँ पिछले 22 वर्ष से भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार है और स्वाभाविक है कि हम अपनी पूरी ताकत झोंकेंगे और केवल इस चुनाव में जीतना नहीं है, लेकिन एक बड़ी मात्रा से हम लोगों को जीतना है।
And Railways Minister Piyush Goyal was in Porbandar, while Information and Broadcasting Minister Smriti Irani was in Junagadh. Other leaders who also campaigned included Dharmendra Pradhan and Chief Minister Vijay Rupani.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने देश को आह्वान किया है। देश उस विषय को ग्रहण करेगा। देश उस विषय को विशेष करके नौजवान हर एक तरीके का उपाय अपनाएंगे और देश में अगर एक पॉजिटिव वातावरण खड़ा होगा तब जाके देश आगे बढ़ेगी। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने आज देश की अंदर एक नया आंदोलन का उन्होंने आज आह्वान किया। पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट, पॉजिटिव इंडिया की उन्होंने आह्वान दिया।
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also slated to campaign in Gujarat today. Prime Minister Modi will address rallies in Bhuj, Amreli, Vapi and Kamrej. On 29th of November, he is likely to visit Navsari, Bharuch, Junagadh and Bhavnagar. The first phase of polling in Gujarat will take place on 9th of December. News from Uttar Pradesh now, and the second phase of local body polls in the state ended on Sunday with 48.76% of the electorate exercising their franchise. However, reports of malfunctioning of EVMs, names missing from electoral rolls and bogus voting continued to mark the polling process. Polling took place in 25 districts including Varanasi, Muzaffarnagar, Ghaziabad, Gautam Budh Nagar, Allahabad and Lucknow. In the second phase, 6 municipal corporations, 51 municipalities and 132 municipal councils of 25 districts, including the capital, Lucknow, had voted. While the polling for the first phase was held on 22nd of November, the last and the final phase would be held on 29th of November and counting of votes would be held on 1st of December. And what all events are expected for the day? Let's take a look in the day ahead. The Supreme Court will hear the Kerala love jihad case where it had asked the father of Kerala woman Hadya to be produced before it. The apex court had also asked the National Investigating Agency to investigate the alleged link of love jihad angle to the case. 24-year-old Hadya has been in headlines after she converted to Islam following her marriage to Chafeen Jahan. Jahan had moved the apex court after the Kerala High Court annulled his marriage. The filing of nominations for the much-awaited by-election to the RK Nagar Assembly constituency scheduled for 21st of December will begin today. While the DMK has already announced its candidate, the ruling AIADMK will meet today to select its candidate. The dissident AIADMK faction led by TTV Dinakaran had also announced that he will contest in the by-poll. Greek Foreign Minister Nikos Kotzias will be on a 2-day official visit to India from today. During his stay, the visiting Foreign Minister will meet with his counterpart Sushma Swaraj to discuss global and regional developments as well as bilateral relations. He will also address the independent think tank Observer Research Foundation. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries. arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back after the break. News from Jammu and Kashmir, and Centre's Special Representative for Kashmir, Dineshwar Sharma, on Sunday visited Pulwama district. Sharma met around 12 delegations, including an all-girls team comprising youth and students from the area. He is likely to visit Anantnag today to hold similar deliberations. Some of the youth delegations requested him for an early and impartial probe into the arrest of photojournalist Kamran Yusuf by the NIA. The delegations also said that the national media was portraying Kashmir in bad light and urged him to ensure immediate end to it. Earlier, Sharma visited Kashmiri Pandit camps in Jammu. He visited Jakti area, the largest township of the displaced Kashmiri Pandits, and met people to understand their problems. Big story coming in from Madhya Pradesh, and the state cabinet has cleared a proposal to enact a law for awarding death sentence for rape convicts in the cases involving minors of 12 years old and below. The proposal was cleared at a cabinet meet chaired by Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Bhopal on Sunday. The Chief Minister said that the cabinet also decided to give a harsher punishment to those guilty of molesting, stalking and harassing women. Now a fine of 1 lakh rupees will also be imposed on such offenders. A bill to the effect will be tabled in the assembly session of the state that begins from today.
12 वर्ष या उससे कम आयु की बालिकाओं के साथ बलात्कार एवं सामूहिक बलात्कार के दोषियों को मृत्यु दंड से दंडित किए जाने का प्रावधान भारतीय दंड संहिता में नई धाराएं 376 ए और 376 डी ए जोड़कर किया गया है.
Let's get you some international news now. And Nepal voted in the first round of its historic two-phase election on Sunday. The turnout was more than 65%. Now, polling happened for both the national parliament and provincial legislatures across 7 newly created states. Now, this is the first election after Nepal promulgated a federal democratic republican constitution in September 2018. In the first phase of the election on Sunday, polling was held at 32 districts. Chief Election Commissioner of the country said that the polls were held mostly peacefully. However, voting was paused in 3 polling centres after an explosive device was found at one and acid was sprinkled on the ballot boxes at 2 others. There were no reports of any injuries. The primary battle in the elections between the Nepali Congress led by Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba and a new left alliance of the Communist Party of Nepal led by KP Sharma Oli and Maoists led by Pushpa Kamal Dehel Prachand. Madheshi parties of the Tarai are also fighting polls independently in the region, but they are expected to support NC after the polls. The second phase of the remaining 45 districts will be held on 7th of December and results are expected a few days after that. News from neighbouring Pakistan, and protests have sprung up across the country in response to the government's operation on Saturday against protesters who were blocking the main route into the capital Islamabad. Throughout Sunday, supporters of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Labaik Party blocked several main highways and roads in major Pakistani cities, paralyzing traffic and daily life and demanding that the law minister be fired for committing blasphemy. Activists from the party maintained their blockade on the main road into the capital for the past 2 weeks, accusing the law minister of blasphemy over a wording change in an electoral law. The minister has apologized, saying that it was a clerical error. The government had asked the military to restore order after the police failed to disperse the protesters on Saturday. At least 6 people were killed in the clashes on Saturday and about 250 were injured. On Sunday, Prime Minister of the country Shahid Khaqan Abbasi and Army Chief General Qamar Bajwa also chaired a high-level meeting and decided to restart negotiations with the leaders to resolve the standoff.
हमारा ये मुतालबा है कि उनके मुतालबा को तस्लीम किया जाए और जिन्होंने ये कार्रवाई की है उनके खिलाफ एक्शन लिया जाए.
And let's show you more international news in World Wrap. A powerful blast in China's port city of Ningbo in the Zhejiang province killed 2 persons and injured nearly 20 others. The country's worst industrial explosion in 3 years also damaged nearby buildings and vehicles. The blast is said to have occurred at a demolished factory. Shattered windows were reported in businesses up to 1 kilometer away from the site of explosion. The cause of the blast is still under investigation. Mount Agung in eastern Bali continued to spew ash on Sunday evening as the Lombok airport was closed due to volcanic activity. Indonesian authorities heightened flight warnings around Mount Agung as the volcano's eruptions sent a plume of volcanic ash and steam more than 6,000 meters into the sky. About 24,000 residents have also been moved away from the way after Mount Agung erupted 3 times on Saturday. It is the second major emission from the Indonesian island volcano this week. Pope Francis departed from Rome's airport on Sunday, headed for Myanmar. The world's most high-profile Christian will take center stage in Buddhist country accused of horrifying acts of brutality against its Rohingya Muslim minority. The Pope has previously decreed the violence against Rohingyas, calling them his persecuted brothers and sisters. During the visit, Pope Francis will meet with Myanmar's army head and also leader Aung San Suu Kyi. In the second leg of his trip, Pope will visit Bangladesh. The new round of the UN-mediated Syrian peace talks will kick off on Tuesday. The talks come after Russia's emergence as the key deal maker in a bid to resolve the 6-year-old conflict. UN mediator Staffan de Mistura has voiced a hope that the next talks will mark the first real negotiation. The UN broker talks, which opened their 8th round on Tuesday, have achieved little so far, but are bolstered this time by the Syrian political opposition's decision to bring a unified delegation to Geneva for the first time. Let's get you all the sporting action now, and Gopi Thankakanal has become the first Indian male runner to win the gold in the Asian Marathon Championship. The 29-year-old from Kerala achieved the feat in the 16th edition of the prestigious event in China on Sunday. Thonakal became first, clocking 2 hours, 15 minutes and 48 seconds. Andrei Petrov of Uzbekistan bagged the silver with a timing of 2:15:51 seconds, while Byan Blalev of Mongolia won the bronze by clocking 2 hours, 16 minutes and 14 seconds. Overall, Thonakal is the 3rd Indian to have won a gold in the event. And PV Sindhu lost to world number 1 Tai Tzu Ying of Chinese Taipei in the women's singles final of the Hong Kong Super Series badminton tournament on Sunday. Sindhu, who had a 3-7 head-to-head record against Tai before the match, fought throughout the match before going down 18-21, 18-21 to the defending champion in a match that lasted 45 minutes. And this is Sindhu's second loss in the 4 finals that she has reached this season. She had earlier lost to Japan's Nozomi Okuhara at the World Championship final, while clinched 2 titles at India and Korea this year.
Third match point opportunity.
News from boxing ring, and India claimed 5 golds at the AIBA Women Youth Boxing Championships in Guwahati on Sunday. The country's pugilists grabbed 5 top positions to finish overall champions for the first time. The girls who won the coveted yellow medals are Neetu in the 48 kilogram category, Jyoti Gulia in the 51 kilogram category, Sakshi Chaudhary in 54 kilograms, Shashi Chopra in 57 kilogram, and Ankushita Boro in the 64 kilogram division. Now adding to the tally were 2 bronze medals secured by Neha Yadav and Anupama, making it India's best ever performance at the marquee age group event. And in cricket, India look in a dominant position on day 4 today of the second test match against Sri Lanka in Nagpur. On day 3 of the match on Sunday, skipper Virat Kohli hit his 5th double hundred as India piled up a gigantic 610 for 6 before declaring their first innings. At stumps, Sri Lanka were down in the dumps at 21 for 1 with another 384 runs required to avoid an innings defeat. The Indian captain scored a majestic 213, his 19th hundred, in the company of Rohit Sharma, who also got a test done after 4 long years. It was Virat Kohli's 12th hundred as Indian captain, and he surpassed Sunil Gavaskar's previous record of 11 centuries.
I think going forward in this game, the ball has started turning, so we are hoping that on day 4 our spinners will come into play, and at the same time there's variable bounce for the fast bowlers, so Ishant and Umesh also will come into play.
And the 37th India International Trade Fair that kicked off at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi on 14th of November will conclude today. The 14-day annual event was organized by the India Trade Promotion Organization under the Commerce Ministry. The theme of the fair was Startup India, Stand Up India. The first 4 days of the event were dedicated to business visitors, while the fair was opened to public on 19th of November. Earlier on 14th of November, President Ramnath Kovind had inaugurated the event. This year, partner country for the fair was Vietnam, while Kyrgyzstan was the focus country. And that's it from me and my team in this edition of News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.